Hey everybody, it's Meredith from Backyard Caring Program here on the Golf Tool Library live stream on Wednesdays, which is all about gardening, and we are back in my garden tonight. It is actually super nice out. I was worried it was going to be a little bit too overcast, but it's nice. I'm going to be picking some herbs and prepping some stuff before I go away for a trip. So I want to make sure that everything is fertilized because it's near the beginning of the month again. So let me just flip around. Hello everybody. I am on my deck, kind of patio area. These are my planters this year. I've got a lot of herbs, and I'll maybe wait for a couple people to join, but I've been watering, so that's kind of the goal for tonight. Let's see if I can do my tripod correctly here, but I've noticed that things like this planter up here, super dry. Because we've just been getting so much water, so I think everything's really spoiled and is requiring like every other day watering. I can't let it go more than that. Things start to wilt. I got a free Japanese maple. Definitely encourage anyone, if you find any healthy plants that don't have any kind of spreadable fungus or bacteria, to get free plants for your garden. Because this is a really nice Japanese maple. Needed a little bit of trimming, might need a little bit of training. It's got some weird spots, but pretty nice score of a large Japanese maple for my shade area here. Shout out to my housemate for helping me out and finding that. So yeah. Also, cool thing to report in the garden. It's going to be kind of like a Mr. Piercy 28. I don't know who you are, so I don't know. This is an elephant ear alocasia plant, and it is absolutely massive this year. Let me try to get a little closer. Hopefully my Wi-Fi make it okay out here. So I'm pretty far, but wow. We've been getting a lot of rain, so it's really happy, and I've got a little fiddly fig behind it. But yeah, everything's growing along. I hope you guys are having a great garden season. Oh, what are you doing, Adam? My dog's drinking from some temporary pond situation I have going on. A couple weeks ago, I put in this like garden tower to see what they are all about and see if I liked it. So far, so good. I stuck some herbs. I don't know why there's like brown edges, but it was a really cheap discount plant. This nasturtium's barely grown, but it's got one flower. But anyways, these are like these stackable containers you can get if you want to save some space. Just to last many years. They are pretty strong. Got a lot of basil and micro tomatoes, which are doing okay. I did transplant them in here, so this one, for example, is not doing super well, but this one's happy. These are, micro tomatoes, so it's a dwarf tomato variety, which is pretty cool. Great for this kind of use. I've got a lot of floating plants back here that I do personally. I wanted to talk about starting seeds at this time of year, and I always like to have some kind of new lettuce on the go. I definitely keep this in a more shady spot than you would think. So I've got a bunch of varieties of lettuce going, hoping to then get these get a little bit bigger and then put them right in my plot. And some basil. I did some cuttings of the variegated basil. You can't get the seeds from this plant, so you have to do propagations. So they look okay. And then some, traditional basils starting. And then I've got a whole bunch of Thai basil kind of stuff in here. But basil, Swiss chard. Where's my Swiss chard? Oh, I've got more basil over here. This is like the behind the scenes area. Started a couple different varieties just to see what would come up. These are already, you can tell they're like the ruffles. Let me zoom in on that. Ruffles, basil. I've got a purple variety and some more basil. You gotta keep the basil going. I'll show you what my other basil's up to now. Yeah, just kind of a little rain pond going here with some papyrus and some floating lettuce, water hyacinth, just for the summer. Yeah, these are micro tom tomatoes. My goal for tonight was to use up the rest of this old musky bottle, which is like a fish based fertilizer that can be used on the leaves or just directly to the plants. I've got a newer bottle that I've never gotten to. It's pretty cheap stuff, but it's great. It's organic. And I'm going to use some of that in like it's got some algae in there, bottle that was used to spread like traditional fertilizer or something, or nematodes. So I'm just going to recycle this, and all you have to do is put in your concentrated liquid in here, and then if you don't have a sprayer, so I'm going to do that later. What I might do is pick some herbs right now. It's a good time to trim back your plant's pretty heavy, I find, because then we've got the rest of the summer. This one I did harvest the other week. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty happy. What else do we have here? I did notice that this tomato is actually really producing. I've got about 3 or 4 I can reach down there. I don't know what variety this one is, but it is a dwarf kind of patio tomato. Really pretty. And there's some more. There's like, this is like the joys of tomato season. It's just constant tomato picking. Once it starts, it doesn't end, which is great. I love it. Good time to clear up your plants. Make sure there's good airflow underneath. That one's a patio one. I definitely still going to do that, just so it's got a little bit more breathing room. Would normally trim out some of that foliage down there. It's going to be a quick live stream tonight, I think. I just wanted to give a little garden update, a little tour. Doing some traveling next week, so I might not be around, but I think I'll plan a video and maybe do some workshops when I'm back. This is really exciting. Some variegated nasturtiums. They're everywhere in my garden because they look really cool. Edible flowers, you can't go wrong. I love it. These are some dahlias. There's the dog. Loves being outside in the garden with me. Very nice. So yeah, I think everyone's garden's doing really great this year. It's kind of unreal. One thing I like to give advice, these are some seeds I started last week before that, and I tried this new soil, and it actually, seedlings are having a bit of a harder time getting through this soil. It seems to have like these little clay pockets, so what I recommend is getting some kind of skewer, something sharp that you can go around your plants and just make some aeration holes. Soak things up. I mean, these are pretty dense. It's okay if we hit some of the plants. But I'm just using, on this one you can tell a little bit more. This soil, a little bit more compost based, a little darker. Some of this stuff just wilted completely off. Not sure why. Other ones survived and they didn't. But I'm just going to go around and poke some holes. Definitely a better tool would be like a barbecue skewer, a wooden barbecue skewer, like support for like an orchid with a point. Some, just simple wooden thing. Make some holes around so that when the water comes on these plants, it drains quicker, but not like super quick either. So these I went a little, you can tell actually more on this one. It's like an all one kind of cake piece. So I need to go in there and break up the surface a little bit so that the water is draining out and not sitting on the surface, making more of a solid problem. So that's something, if there isn't any weeding here to do. This was a bunch of salad mix. I thought it was pretty old, so I wasn't sure it was going to germinate very well, but it did quite well. So it's almost like too thick. We'll see how that goes. Sometimes when you start things this late in the season, it's really hot and they almost go directly to flower. So I'm hoping they won't do that. If it starts to look like they might do that, I'll claim them as microgreens and start again. This is the same thing as that other pot. There's some really cool ones in here, different lettuces and things that already look really neat. Hoping just to get some salad bowls that I can kind of cut and come again. Same thing here, just like a really interesting lettuce mix. I might actually prick some of these out. That's where you kind of decide you're going to take, okay, I'm going to take this little lettuce. And so you kind of poke them out, launch them out and plant it somewhere else for it to grow bigger. Actually, it's right here. I could put it in another garden, but we'll just put it in. But again, yeah, making some holes, making sure things are draining. I've got a ornamental banana here. Just needs lots of water, and it should be quite tall. It's already approaching 4 feet tall. Really fun kind of annual plant that you can trim down in the fall, store in your basement like you would a canna lily or a gladiolus, and then bring it back out in the spring. This is my older basil, and it is already going to flower again. I've pricked it a couple times. I don't know how much more lush it's actually going to be, but I think I'll end up doing a big batch. Some of it's actually drooping over here, and I think I just need to do more watering because we've had so much rain basically every day that the plants are pretty much spoiled to that. So I'm going to do some watering tonight. These are really beautiful from some of the Brazilian peppers I got this year. Hot peppers, ornamental. They're grown to look like this in a planter pot or something. Instead of flowers, I have some, decorative flowering basil right here, more of a Thai basil, which you can kind of pick the lower leaves, but it's kind of fun because you can actually eat these blossoms as well. But I love purple accents in the garden personally, so you'll see a lot of that. I think I really need to harvest this back and see if it'll give me another show. Otherwise, I might take it out and then plant something else or put the younger basil here. I like to keep things rolling, keep intercropping, they say, and then use that space up, keep it going. This is a sugar striper pepper. Sorry about that, guys. It's a hot pepper that should develop some stripes when the color comes in, but you can see I've got absolute ton of fruit, and that's because I taught my peppers, which is that technique I talked about a couple of live streams back, where you cut the top of the plant so that it actually produces more branches and therefore more fruit. So there's that. Some other things aren't, growing super fast. These other peppers seem to be a little bit more delayed, but they are more ornamental. They've got a lot more white foliage, so maybe they just grow a little slower, but they look okay. These guys are coming along, some more purple peppers. This one's pretty neat. I really like this one. It's got like these super dark purple with not black looking peppers on there. Pretty cool. This is a Carolina Reaper. It is super tall, you can see there. And I use the same technique, so it's much taller, and we're just going to get a ton of fruit because of that. I'm hoping to get a lot. Okay, what else to show you? These Cannas have come a long way. They're also approaching 5 feet tall. They look awesome. Love Cannas. This spot gets a lot of water off the roof, so they're holding it down. This is a sweet potato vine, and it's just gone absolutely wild off the side. And then my beautiful roses. Maybe I'll finish it off with that, but they are doing fantastic. I've got like a second showing of roses on this plant, which is exciting. Definitely gonna need to prune back. This one back here doesn't get as much sun, so it's just not as big. So I'm gonna have to prune them back to be about the same size, I think. It's too bad. I should probably move it, but maybe I'll just cut some branches out of the tree, give it a little bit more time in the sun here. I like how it's symmetrical. yeah, there's my little tropical corner on this side. Traditional English cottage garden, and then tropical. Kind of fun. That's what I like. When you have a small space, you can do more specific things, I suppose. Let's finish off with the rain barrel. A lot of planters down here, not too much exciting. Some herbs, but we've got a little solar panel in the rain barrel now to give it a little bit of agitation during the day, a little bit of oxygen. Fish think they're getting fed. Got some floating plants in here just to provide a little bit of shelter from the direct sunlight. They feel like they're a bit more protected. There's 4 in there. They're really small, and this is about 60 gallons, so got plenty of room. And then I'm constantly using water from here that has the fish waste, the plant waste, and pure rainwater on the plants. So really, it's a full circle. Pretty fun. So yeah, that's just a abbreviated version of the Backyard Caring live stream on Wednesdays. I go live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. So if you like gardening stuff, you're part of the Guelph community or not, would love to have you tune in live to watch my videos, ask questions about the garden, and learn different things. So I will see you next week with some more garden stuff. Have a great night, everybody. Goodbye.